our debt processes. But as part of that process, we've gathered not just to develop a document, but to develop something that will become the cornerstone for all of us to look at, that will guide our work to move forward. So to my colleagues from the Ministry of Justice, the General Auditing Commission, we welcome you here today on behalf of the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, and thank you for the partnership and the work we continue to do in the interest of Liberia. It is important to note that we've gathered not just for a mere process, but to support the preparation of the government of Liberia, their procedural manual. Normally we talk about procedure, people will think about it's lay down protocol, but we also want this to be more about the human aspect of it, to ensuring that what we develop, what we talked about here today, going forward will be something that will not just be a paper-based document, but will be something that we will put action into, that we all can use that process. The development of this process is very important for us because it set clear expectations and clear guidelines for what we can do and what we are not supposed to do, and to ensure that the public debt processes in the country are managed in line with those laws that guide us and also international best practice. It's also equally important to note that as part of our routine audit process in the country, the supreme audit institution of the country, the General Auditing Agency, flagged this process as one of the inadequate processes that we had at the Ministry of Finance. And in order to address that process, it's important for all of us as stakeholders to gather, not just to develop it, but let's reflect first. Where did we come from? Where are we today? How do we want to go forward? And the forward march is where we are, gathering from a cross-section of stakeholders who've come with different ideas. You heard the Ministry of Justice, you heard the General Auditing Commission. So it's not just going to be the Ministry of Finance team bringing together that cross-sectional ideas on how we better our systems and how we also better our procedure, ensuring that there's fairness, there's equity, there's transparency in implementing our public debt process. The reason it's key is that when the Auditor General flagged these things, like among many other audit reports, it goes on the shelf. But we at the Ministry of Finance believe that the audit recommendations are very important for the forward march of strengthening our financial system. And because of that, the Minister of Finance authorized this process, making sure that the debt management unit and all other stakeholders involved can gather here for the next few days to be ensuring that there's thought process going through it, there's thoroughness, and there's more energy. That's why we took you away from all of the beauties in Monrovia, brought you to the coast of Liberia in Buchanan. And as you go through this process, we want to be concerned and very much acknowledge you that the concern raised by the General Auditing Commission should not be swept under the carpet. As a matter of fact, they are here to support us to address these concerns. That's a joint partnership. So let's continue to ensure that this process is being in a holistic way. It should not be seen as a Ministry of Finance process. It is the government of Liberia process. And to ensure that all actors involved in the dispense of the day-to-day functionaries around debt will be brought together, put together the rightful ideas, and get the point. The preparation of this is also a very key priority for our international partners. It's a prior policy actions that requires that most of our traditional multinationals and the partners, including the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and other institutions like the European Union, are keyed about. As a government, we find this commitment very much important to unlocking our development financing for the country in the midst as we look for finances to finance our AID, which is the government 5-year development agenda. I want to also use this opportunity on behalf of my colleague, Minister Zuo, who's the head of this department, to acknowledge each of us who've gathered that let this be not just one of the fund-making process. It is a serious business. That's why government money is in it, the taxpayer money are in it. So as we all gather, let's make sure that we put all of the needed energy, all of the attentions, all of the different ideas on the table. No idea is a mess. Bring all of the different ideas from implementation process to the process. That's what the manual is about. The manual is not just about developing new ideas today. It is about bringing practical lessons that we've learned during the implementation of the debt processes. Sometimes we put it black and white on papers, but the implementation may not be feasible. Some of the arguments you hear from the debt management committee, some of the arguments you hear from the courts, some of the arguments